I was halfway across the wooden bridge when the sound of engines and metal crashing echoed through the valley. A yellow excavator slammed its bucket into the side rails, splinters flying everywhere. 3 pickup trucks blocked the road behind it. And standing right in the middle of the bridge was Karen, arms folded like she owned the place. "Stop right there," she yelled at me. "This bridge is being removed by order of the HOA. I stared at her for a second, then looked at the machine, tearing boards out of the bridge my grandfather built 40 years ago. "You're destroying private property," I said. Karen laughed, loud enough for the construction guys to hear. "No," she said, waving a paper in the air. "I'm fixing a problem. This ugly bridge doesn't meet neighborhood standards. The HOA voted to remove it this morning." The excavator smashed another beam. The whole bridge shook under my boots. I felt my fists tighten, but I stayed calm, because Karen had no idea what she was really doing. Behind her, the road curved up the hill toward their fancy neighborhood. 30 houses, million-dollar views, shiny gates, and only one way in or out. "This bridge," and she was destroying it. One of the workers hesitated and looked at me. "Sir, are you sure this is okay?" he asked Karen quietly. Karen snapped her fingers at him like he was a dog. "Keep working. He doesn't live in the neighborhood, so he doesn't get a vote." That part almost made me smile. "Doesn't live here!" Interesting thing about that. My small cabin sits right before the bridge. Most people think it's just some old fisherman's place. What they don't know is the land under this bridge, the road leading to it, and the hill their entire neighborhood sits on. All of it once belonged to my grandfather. And one small detail Karen definitely didn't know yet. The HOA never owned this bridge. I do. Another loud crack echoed as the excavator tore out a support beam. The front half of the bridge sagged slightly. Karen clapped like she was watching fireworks. "Finally," she said, "now we can build something nicer, something that fits the neighborhood." I leaned against the truck parked near the bridge and watched quietly. One of the neighbors standing behind Karen whispered, "What if the county needs permits?" Karen rolled her eyes. "I already handled it," she said confidently. "This land connects to our neighborhood road. That means the HOA controls it." That's when I finally spoke again. "You might want to double-check that." Karen turned slowly, smirking. "Oh, really?" she said. "And who exactly are you supposed to be?" For a moment, I thought about answering. But instead, I pulled out my phone and hit record. "Just someone who owns the only road your entire neighborhood uses." Karen burst out laughing. The workers laughed too. One guy even shook his head. "Buddy, you don't own a road that leads into an HOA." I nodded slowly. "Normally, no." Another beam snapped. The bridge sagged even lower now. Karen pointed toward my cabin. "You see that shack?" she said to everyone. "That's his place. A little fisherman hut. He probably thinks the woods belong to him, too." More laughter. I let them laugh. Because none of them had seen the county deed records yet. None of them knew what was about to happen when the sheriff arrived. And Karen definitely didn't know the biggest problem she had just created. By destroying this bridge, she had just cut off the only legal access road to her entire neighborhood. 30 homes, 300 residents, million-dollar properties, all trapped. Because the one man she laughed at owned the road. And the next phone call I made was going to make her regret that excavator. But the real twist? The sheriff coming to this scene was my younger brother. Just wait until Karen tried to explain why she destroyed my bridge. Karen was still laughing when the excavator ripped out another plank. The front half of the bridge dropped a few inches and the machine operator quickly backed up. "Careful," one of the workers shouted. Karen waved her hand like none of it mattered. "It's fine," she said. "We're replacing the whole thing anyway." I leaned against my truck and kept recording on my phone. The valley was quiet except for the machine engine and pieces of wood hitting the creek below. One of the neighbors stepped closer to me. "You should probably move your truck," he said quietly. "They're tearing this whole thing down." I looked at him and shrugged. "I'm not worried." Karen heard that and turned again. "Oh, you're not worried?" she said with a fake smile. "You should be, because once this bridge is gone, we're putting a security gate here. No more random people driving through our neighborhood." A few neighbors nodded. One woman said, "Finally, property values will go up." I couldn't help it. I laughed a little. Karen's eyes narrowed. "What's so funny?" I pointed behind her toward the hill where their neighborhood sat. You think that gate is going to help when nobody can legally reach your houses anymore? Karen crossed her arms. Listen, she snapped. The HOA owns the road. I already checked. I tilted my head. Did you check the county map? Or just the HOA papers? She didn't answer. Instead, she turned back to the workers. Finish it, she said. Take the whole thing down. The excavator bucket slammed down again. Crack! The center beam snapped and half the bridge collapsed into the shallow creek. Dust and broken wood filled the air. A few neighbors clapped. Karen smiled like she just won something. There, she said proudly. Problem solved. I looked at the broken bridge, then at the long road stretching behind me. The same road every delivery truck, school bus, ambulance, and fire truck used to reach their houses. And now it ended in a pile of wood. One of the workers walked over to me quietly. Sir, you kept saying you own this road. Are you serious? I nodded. Yep. He rubbed the back of his neck. You might want to tell her that. I looked at Karen. No, I'd rather let someone else explain. Almost right on cue, sirens echoed in the distance. 2 sheriff vehicles came around the curve and rolled up to the destroyed bridge. Karen's smile got even bigger. Oh, perfect, she said loudly. I called them earlier just in case this guy caused trouble. The truck stopped. 2 deputies stepped out. And then the sheriff himself climbed out of the second vehicle. My younger brother Daniel. He looked at the broken bridge, the excavator, the pile of wood in the creek, then at me leaning against my truck. He already knew something was wrong. Karen marched straight up to him. Officer, thank goodness you're here, she said dramatically. This man has been interfering with HOA construction. Daniel didn't say anything yet. He just looked around slowly. Then his eyes landed on the bridge remains. Who authorized this demolition? He asked calmly. Karen raised the paper she'd been waving earlier. The HOA did, she said proudly. This bridge was unsafe and didn't meet community standards. Daniel took the paper and read it for about 3 seconds. Then he looked up. Ma'am, this isn't a demolition permit. Karen blinked. It's an HOA notice. One of the neighbors spoke up. Well, the HOA controls the road. Daniel slowly turned his head toward me. I could see the small smile forming on his face now. Is that true? He asked me. I shrugged. Depends what road they're talking about. Karen pointed at the ground. This road. The one leading to our neighborhood. Daniel walked a few steps toward the broken bridge, then looked down the long stretch of gravel road disappearing into the woods. Then he turned back to Karen. Ma'am, he said slowly, do you know who owns that road? Karen rolled her eyes. Yes, the HOA. Daniel shook his head once. No. He pointed directly at me. Him. The entire group went silent. Karen laughed nervously. That's ridiculous. Daniel didn't laugh. In fact, he continued, the county records show he owns the bridge, the road leading to it, and the easement your entire neighborhood uses to access the highway. Karen's smile disappeared. One neighbor whispered, Wait, what? Daniel pointed at the collapsed bridge. So what I'm trying to figure out right now, his voice got colder, is why someone just destroyed private property and blocked the only legal access road to 30 homes. Karen looked around at everyone like she expected someone to fix this. Nobody spoke. And that's when the first real panic started spreading through the crowd, because the same thought hit all of them at the same time. If the bridge was gone, they couldn't get home, and that was just the beginning of Karen's problem. Karen's face slowly lost all color. That's not possible, she said, shaking her head. The HOA lawyer told us this road belongs to the community. My brother Daniel looked at her calmly. Then your lawyer didn't check the county deed records. A quiet wave of whispers moved through the neighbors. One man stepped forward nervously. Sheriff, are you saying we can't use this road? Daniel pointed at the broken bridge. I'm saying the only access to your neighborhood just got destroyed. And the owner of that road is standing right there. Every pair of eyes turned toward me. Karen followed their gaze slowly, like she had just realized something very uncomfortable. That's ridiculous, she snapped. He lives in that little cabin. He can't possibly own all this land. I pushed myself off my truck and walked a few steps closer. My grandfather bought this entire valley in 1972, I said calmly. Sold the hill to a developer 20 years later, but he kept the road and the bridge. Karen blinked. That doesn't make sense. It does if you read the contract. Daniel nodded slightly. The neighborhood has an easement to use the road, he explained. But they don't own it. One of the neighbors gasped. Wait, easement means permission, right? Exactly, Daniel said. A man in a suit near the back suddenly looked very uncomfortable. He was probably the HOA board treasurer. Karen pointed at the destroyed bridge again. Fine, she snapped. Then he can just rebuild it. I raised an eyebrow. Oh? You broke it, you fix it, she said. That's when Daniel cleared his throat. Actually, that's not how this works. Karen turned to him. What do you mean? Daniel looked down at his notebook. Well, the demolition happened without the owner's permission, without a county permit, and without structural authorization. He glanced at the excavator, which means whoever ordered this demolition is responsible for the damages. Karen froze. The workers immediately stepped away from the machine. One of them raised his hands quickly. She hired us. We were told the HOA owned the bridge. Karen spun around. Don't look at me. Daniel closed his notebook slowly. Ma'am, the damage to this bridge alone is estimated around $200,000. The crowd gasped. Karen's mouth opened, but nothing came out. But Daniel wasn't finished. And because this bridge provided emergency access to the neighborhood, he continued, blocking it could also trigger county safety violations. One woman whispered, "Oh my God." Another neighbor pulled out his phone. My kids are up there right now. Someone else asked, what if there's a fire? Karen suddenly shouted, stop panicking! We'll just build another bridge. I shook my head slowly. You can't. She turned toward me angrily. Why not? I pointed at the creek and the road. Because this entire stretch of land, 30 feet on both sides, is private property. Silence hit the group again. No construction happens here without my permission. Karen stared at me like she wanted to scream. You're bluffing. I pulled a folded document from my truck and handed it to Daniel. County land deed. Original signature from my grandfather. Daniel held it up so everyone could see. Karen's voice dropped. This is insane! But the real twist hadn't even started yet. Because at that exact moment, another vehicle pulled up behind the sheriff trucks. A white county inspection SUV. Daniel noticed it first and sighed quietly. Well, he muttered. Now things just got worse. Karen frowned. What is that? The door of the SUV opened and a county infrastructure inspector stepped out, holding a clipboard. He walked straight to the edge of the destroyed bridge, looked down at the collapsed beams, then slowly turned toward the crowd. His first words made several neighbors go pale. Who authorized the destruction of this bridge? Karen tried to speak, but the inspector continued before she could. Because until this structure is rebuilt and approved, he pointed up the hill toward the neighborhood. This entire community is officially cut off from legal road access. One man whispered in horror. You mean, we can't drive home? The inspector shook his head. Not legally. Then he pointed toward Karen. So whoever ordered this demolition, his voice turned sharp, just trapped an entire neighborhood. And Karen was the only one everyone was looking at. End the story.